The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com.
Additional support for What's Neat This Week is brought to you by SoundTraxx, industry leaders in model railroad sound and technology for over 30 years. Now please visit our website at soundtraxx.com, and at checkout, be sure to use the promo code WNTW15 for 15% off of your purchases. And while you're there, be sure to check out our YouTube channel and other information that we have on our website to help you get more familiar with Model Railroader Reader's Choice Award winner 2 times for Favorite Sound Decoder.
Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 131 for October 3rd, 2020. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine, and we all know what that is because we talked about that on show 128 when we had Joe Fugate on.
Yep.
And I love that magazine. That's a great online magazine, and the October video just came out yesterday.
That's
you guys
right,
told
sure
me.
did.
And
That's right.
in that video, Tim Schreiner shares with us how to build scenery from start to finish, including rock castings, the trees, the ground cover, the coloring of the stone. Tim does a fantastic job in about 40-something minutes in that video.
Those washes that he did on those rocks were pretty amazing.
Yeah, they look very realistic.
It's absolutely amazing. Tonight I've got with me Sugar Fire Joshua Barton
What's
sitting
up,
right next
everybody?
to me. We've also got Daniel Coombs. Hello,
Not behind the
Daniel.
camera tonight.
That's right.
Boy, I
Daniel's
got
not
some
on the
exciting
camera.
to show you.
I know, right? And we've got James Regier, who squeezed in here between the monitor.
Hi, everybody.
We were actually going to do some live video on the monitor for you guys tonight, but after figuring out my laptop's not as powerful as I thought it was, we skipped that part, but we're still got a treat for you with regards to the Athearn website and something really cool I figured out about that. But I'm going to start out the show talking about, I'm going to run this video clip right now, and you guys have all seen it. The Mississippi River is extremely low right now. It is that September, October low water, and the trees here in Missouri are just starting to change. We got a tinge of yellow in the trees out there. But I was out shooting these Athearn GP38-2 locomotives, trying to create some video for the November What's Neat show, which I'm putting together right now, and I've got 6 more days to get that done. Very much, thank you. But what a beautiful day it was. And again, I'm using the desert scene here. I stacked the scenery for this diorama, multiple dioramas. First is the main scene, which you see right there. And then behind that's the hill. And then beyond that are the 2 mountains that are being held up on tripods. But it's always fun to show you guys how we do this. Again, I was doing not still photography this time, but video run-bys. Shooting the GP39-2s, like I said. And let me show you how that video clip came out. I usually just start them out and they're running real sweet and slow across the desert scene. I use my Digitrax system when I'm doing the videos outside because I don't want to use radio through the window glass and through the brick walls of the home. I prefer to have everything hardwired direct, so I run a cable outside in order to shoot these video run-bys. I also shot some SD45-2s outside, same type of scenario, same type of run-bys, and these run-bys are designed to be segues for the What's Neat video.
Right.
If you've ever seen a What's Neat video, between the segments, I always like to run video run-bys of these trains, blowing their horns and doing their things. Go ahead, James, what are you thinking?
Well, I was just saying, like, there's just something about that desert scenery and that Kodachrome paint scheme. They're just so complementary to each other.
They do look good.
Now
I tried another experiment this week. You know, so many people out there, we've all got cell phones in our back pockets, and you know they shoot great video. So I tried an experiment last night, and that's what this still photograph is on the screen right here. And that was the moon that had just risen over the river. We've got that full October harvest moon coming up every night, and tonight is going to rise just about in 10 more minutes.
And I believe that's Mars there right next to it in the picture as well.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's really cool.
Oh, that's right.
That's cool.
But I shot a video clip with the cell phone, and let me show you that clip first, and you guys can decide which one is better. This is a run-by using the Athearn P42 locomotive, and it's about 20-something seconds of run-by using the cell phone again to create this footage. And it looks kind of neat. The cell phone gives it good color, and it looks decent.
Definitely.
And then I did the same thing with the standard video camera that we always use. This will be another 20-second clip coming up here, where I start out the P42 locomotive in the same spot, pulling the two Bachmann passenger cars. I put rail zip out there on the rails so that all the dew and the wetness on the track wouldn't cause the cars to flicker, which is something that we had, have experienced in the past. But as you can see, make up your mind which video clip you think is better. They're both pretty much exactly the same, just different types of cameras to shoot them.
And you have the lightings the same on both of them, like you didn't have the house lights on for one and off for the other.
That's interesting, because that brings up another clip that I wasn't going to show, but I can clip this out right now and show you. What I did was I took a 1,000-watt total light, and I bounced the light off of the back of my house. So I would simply use the house as a large reflector to reflect the light back onto the scene. And James and I have done this in the past on different outdoor photo shoots when we shoot the moon. But it does work. So yes, to answer your question, there was no direct light on this shot. It's all bounce light.
Okay.
But rock and roll, that was our experiment and something that I kind of wanted to talk about. Now, if you look on the table here, and I'm going to jump right to this without even hesitating, and I didn't know I was going to do this. Neil Maltz sent us some vehicles, and this is a company called East Coast Circuits. Okay, and on the table here, check out the vehicles with the flashing LED lights. The first one, both of these are River Point Station Ford F550s, and the first one is a mini pumper truck that I'm going to show you. That's the fire truck.
Yeah.
There's a total of 28 LEDs on this vehicle. I've got
That's impressive.
I've got
Wow.
9-volt batteries connected to it right now. But can you imagine putting 28 LEDs into a small, And
And all the various flash rates on there. I've been trying to look at that thing and reverse engineer how they're doing it. It's just pretty impressive. And I know they do the LED lighting for a lot of Sam Dennehy's projects. His Ectomobile, in fact, he told me that I could get the Ectomobile off of Shapeways and go to East Coast Products, and I'd have pretty much what he has.
That's amazing. The
So
Ghostbuster ambulance, right? And
Yeah.
Neil said that he did those for Sam.
Yeah, and those, it just looks so impressive, so realistic with the flash rate. There's been a lot of thought put into that.
Yes.
The
definitely.
second vehicle that he sent us is a F450 service cab truck. And this vehicle has got 11 LEDs built into it. And it also runs on between 9 and 12 volts. You don't want to go higher than 12 volts because you'll fry the thing. And that's why I've got a 9-volt battery connected to each one of these, and they're going to run through the duration of the show.
Yeah.
But hats off to Neil for creating these wonderful vehicles. They are retail price $85 a piece. Just the way you see them. And that's not bad considering you already know what a River Point Station vehicle costs.
Yeah.
Right.
So
No,
add to that all the work that they put
Yeah.
in.
I mean,
Really.
it brings out the animation of it. Think
Absolutely.
about if you just got them sitting on your street scene or whatever scene you got, you maybe flip off the lights in the train room. Well, there you go.
Right.
The vehicles
Yeah.
are all lit up. I
you
think
know
that's pretty cool.
It reminds me of a project that they talked about in one of Garrett's diaries from that Miniature Wunderland there in Hamburg.
Yeah.
He was talking about how they were animating these airport fire trucks, and they'd go and they'd take video of the fire trucks, figure out what light was flashing exactly when, and then try and duplicate that in their programming. I forgot
Oh,
how
wow.
many LEDs they use for it, but it's just impressive stuff.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Now, announced tonight on this show, and this is what I love about this show, you get the latest, greatest news. Neil is announcing, as of this video coming out, which will be Monday, a brand new vehicle in their line of vehicles, and this will also appear on their website on Monday, and that is a Charger. Is that right? Dodge Chargers, and this is a Rico model. Now, I remember
man.
Mike Buddy talked about Rico models on the show before. This is an HO scale custom lit Dodge Charger, and it has got between 14 and 16 LEDs in each one of these. There's 8 different models out there, police, sheriff, and fire. But between 14 and 16 LEDs, and the difference is whether or not it's got the push bumper on the front or not. Because that bumper thing they used to push it, that's also got a couple extra LEDs on it. And these also manufacturer retail price are between $85 and $90, including shipping. And they will be available for the holiday season. So rock and roll, man. Check it out. I got video running of this too, and I might run it twice because it's so cool.
Yeah, it sure
that's
is.
awesome.
I've been waiting for something like this because that's super ultra modern. You see those, Highway Patrol uses those in multiple states.
And the thing is, I just see those Dodge Chargers, as police cars.
Yeah,
And then I think Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did that happen? That was a Charger too that they were running around in the General.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So thank you, Neil, for sharing these. And like James said, with doing the Ghostbusters, eastcoastcircuits.com is the website. Contact them through that. They'll also do custom work for you. So if you give them a project, one of your vehicles that you've already got, maybe we could send them the Trackmobile and get them to do that for us. And
Already done.
Speaking of the Trackmobile, that is coming out in the November What's Neat video. James Regier did the complete edit from start to finish. It's 24 minutes long, and boy, is that an amazing video. I mean, he takes us and shows us the programming of code, everything that went into doing James Wright's Broadway Limited Trackmobile. It's one of the best. You're better at making videos than I am. I'm very impressed with your work, James.
So when are you giving it back to him?
As soon as possible. I want that thing out of my life. It's been a great learning experience, but
I'm sure.
4 or 5 months has been enough.
He's gonna love it. I hope he makes a review for you.
Oh, he probably will. And I tell you what, other people might be sending you Trackmobiles. Just a heads up.
Daniel, you've got one of the Athearn Big Boys on the table tonight, and you bought this because Daniel's working at a hobby shop now, which is really kind of cool.
It is. It is.
You're working at Mark Twain Hobby out in St. Charles?
Yes, I am. I was contacted from a manager asking if I could take up a part-time position as a cashier and, of course, train clerk. And I thought, well, you know what, why not? Part-time here and there, and we're off. And I have helped a lot of people with many train questions, and a lot of the fellow coworkers really like me working up there. But again, I like working with every one of them. So
that's the perfect second job for you.
It is. So yeah, like Ken just said, I got the Athearn, of course, 4014 Big Boy, which we got those at our store now. I got the Tsunami 2 version. And of course, we're running the clips right now. I'm
going to run this clip right now. And you were showing it on your layout, Daniel.
Yes.
I went to your house the other day, and you're running this on a 26-inch radius curve. Is
yes,
that right?
That is correct.
Wow.
My outside's 28. Now, I'm sure I'm going to negotiate 22 with it being an articulated engine. But again, Athearn, I would actually recommend maybe a 24-inch at least. But again, 22 inches, probably have to go back to my house and get it on the inside. But yeah, you see it running.
Right. This is completely detailed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is completely detailed for the excursion version that they've been been running around and somehow managed to skip St. Louis, but they'll get us next time.
Yeah, they'll get us next time.
But but the details have all been updated. It's a little bit shinier on the boiler jacket, isn't that right?
Yeah, they got I think just a semi-gloss paint to make it look like it was
a little bit more of a satin finish.
And speaking of which, just one point. I wanted to show you guys. If you need to get it. There's the box it comes in, which is a real super cool box. It's almost like it grabs your attention immediately. It's like, oh, what is that? Oh, it's a 4014 Big Boy.
That's right.
So I mean, Athearn, they did a really good job on this box. I mean, we got to give credit. I want to figure out who made the design so I can just say, what a nice design you made with this box.
Let's ask Matt next time he's here.
Yeah, we ought to.
That's
right.
awesome.
And I noticed that Big Boy chalk writing on the front.
Yeah.
It's a decal that's included with the locomotive, so if you'd rather not have it, you don't have to.
Nice.
Right.
That's awesome. Hey, on next week's show, guess what, guys? We're going to have David Popp on from Model Railroader Magazine.
Awesome.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
I love David Popp, the puppeteer. What a great person. And he's going to talk about a lot of the projects that they are working on as they have gone through this past 6 or 8 months since March when everything started going crazy. One other thing I want to say is the spray booth project. We've got Mitch Bufoden running camera for us tonight. And Mitch's father
Hi.
is a jack of all trades. He's a plumber and a sheet metal worker. David Bufoden built a box for the back of my spray booth that connects the 6-inch circular hose that goes out the brand new window to the spray booth motor, to the 600 cubic foot per minute blower motor.
Right.
And it actually slides off. So thank you very much, Dave, for your custom work that you did. He spent 3 hours working on that project last week.
And barely any cussing.
It was great. It really came out really
Easy
decent.
to him.
What else we got going on, Joshua?
Oh, let's talk about Chris Palomares.
Oh, we talked to Chris tonight.
Yeah.
You know Chris Palomares out there at Caboose in
Sure,
Lakewood,
that's
Colorado.
right.
He mentioned to us that they have got a eBay website, and he would like me to direct everybody to that because I think he said they have over 14,000 different items on there, or 1,400 different, a lot of stuff out there that they are selling through Caboose's eBay page. And you go to that by typing in my, and that's
Underscore.
Caboose, my_Caboose, and that will lead you to their eBay page. And they've got a lot of really cool stuff on there. A lot of rare brass is one thing that he brought up on the list here, and limited run products from yesteryear. So if there's models that you're looking for that were already produced, hard to find models, odds are good that they've got those.
Yep.
So check it out. And we wish Chris and Kevin and everybody out there at Caboose the very best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I want to do something a little bit different tonight, too. But first, I want to let you talk about your speakers, James, because you didn't get to talk about those on the last show.
And they are pretty cool.
Here, let's
Yeah,
get this
so
in front of here.
one of the things that I've been working on when I haven't been occupied with the Trackmobile, and in fact I did build the speaker box for the Trackmobile, but I've noticed that there's been a lot of speaker baffle designs out there that have really gotten in a better audio dynamic. That is, they're bringing out the bass, they're bringing out the mid-range even better from those little sugar cube cell phone speakers. And so I thought, I had a 3D printer, and I was already sort of learning how to use Blender, and I thought I'd go and design a speaker baffle. And these are this is the old baffle that I've taken out of some of my locomotives that uses the same speakers, and it's actually built out of styrene that I've used Plastruct to assemble and stick together. The neat thing about the 3D printed design and from 3D graphics is it's a lot more precise in its dimensions. So you can push the speaker right into that speaker box. You don't even necessarily need to use adhesive to get a really tight fit. It's like it fits like a glove. But this speaker design is actually designed so that it has an S curve built into it for a rear side outlet of the speaker, which helps to enhance the bass chamber, helps to enhance the mid-range a little bit. And so I've been experimenting with it on some of my locomotives, and it really seems to make a good difference. Now, one of the problems is that I've noticed that I've been buying my speakers on eBay, and some of them are of better quality than others, the speaker drivers. And so the lesser quality ones don't take the high volumes quite as nicely without starting to really burn out. But the speaker box, nevertheless, seems to make one speaker do the work of 2 or 3 sugar cubes in the locomotive. So it's pretty good.
Sure, all that extra room to move around with that S just makes that resonance come out so much more. When you showed me at first, you had a regular engine and then an engine that you had the other thing in.
Right.
And it was such a huge difference. I mean, it sounded like, twice, 3 times the amount of resonance that was coming out of that.
It is amazing.
And
it is.
I'll supply you with B-roll so that we see what we're talking about. I have to record it actually, but
I think you should do a What's Neat segment on that. Let's do
Definitely.
that. Let's save
That's
that
an
for
idea. Yep.
put
in
that
fact, I'll put that in another
December's
What's Neat.
Right.
And here's a
segment,
sneak peek of a What's Neat coming
know.
soon.
Yeah.
I love
The one
how
I have yet to make. Yeah.
we just kind of come up with this stuff as we're going along.
Yeah.
Now, Joshua, I know we're going to use the NCE system, and we're going to do some run-bys tonight, because every time we say, let's go run some trains, I love the run-by that you did on the last show.
Yeah.
And on the last show that we did, we talked about the upgrade for the TCS throttle, that Wi-Fi throttle that works with my NCE system.
Right.
And you mentioned that with the upgrade
You can now run
two locomotives.
Two locomotives or two consists at once. You can switch back and forth with them.
Right.
Now, the other feature that we forgot to mention actually last time was that if you have turnouts on your layout, that are DCC controlled,
right,
the throttle now has that capability.
Right.
Now, Ken's are all hand throws, so we can't really demonstrate that here that well, but that's now available.
It's really great, and they're going to be on the show the last week of the month. But the fact is, now you can switch all your turnouts, and you can also program it so if you want to run a train through the switch yard and have multiple turnouts switch at one time, the throttle will do that. And that all comes with the upgrade that you upgrade into the throttle through the Wi-Fi system. So hats off to TCS for making their products upgradable the way they did. I think that's awesome. And I love the fact that when we do these shows, we can keep everybody updated with the latest, greatest news. And that's the whole point of doing the show weekly, is because, in this hobby, things seem to change very quickly.
Absolutely.
They do.
Now, I've got this computer set up here, and I'm going to start screen capture right away because I want to show you something. I went to the Athearn website this week, and I figured out something about that website that I thought was really cool, and that's what I want to show here on the screen as I screen capture this. I never did understand exactly how to search, and Chris Palomares told me a secret one time, and I already forgot about it, but I reminded myself of it. I know that sounds crazy, but it used to be that you would go to, for example, Genesis and click on diesel locomotives, and then you'd click on each one of these different diesel locomotives here on the screen, and if they had them in stock, great, and if they didn't, it would show up blank. And I'm going to show you that right now. See, nothing, no matches found. It's not available. But I've discovered something. There's this little button down here called Advanced Search. And if you go to that, and I want to look at the Ready to Roll line right now, for example, I just simply click on Ready to Roll, and then I click on In Stock.
Yeah.
And guess what? Everything is in front of me. You set
wow.
it up.
Oh, yeah.
You set it up.
Wow.
72 products per page.
So it
Instead
has
of-
that Boolean function on it?
Right.
That's nice.
So now you don't have to go to each single item.
298 things on your queue.
I know, and the first thing I want to talk about are these 50-foot PS boxcars right here. Check out the Wisconsin Centrals in the Ready to Rust, primed for grind paint scheme.
Wow.
I mean, and something else that caught my eye I wanted to talk about tonight were those Herzog cars. These are the ballast cars that I see go behind my house. There are so many things on this website in the Ready to Roll line that you might not be aware of.
And they're all in stock.
I wasn't aware of it. I got those Burlington engines from Korea Brass the other day.
Yeah.
How good would these 40-foot boxcars look? And there's 3 different numbers.
Yeah. Nice little string on
I was
there.
going through this and drooling, but that's not just what I want to talk about. And there's only 5 pages here, right? You can go through all 5. Check this out. When I'm clicking on number 4 right here, it's going to start out with the 85-foot flat cars. What I want to get to after we pass by all the trailers, first there is a, check this out, a Roundhouse steam locomotive available in stock, right?
Oh, nice.
But check out the parts, James Regier. You can buy trucks.
Yeah.
You can buy the Athearn motor. How many folks knew that you can buy wheel sets, the drive shafts, all the different parts that we want to upgrade an Athearn locomotive?
Great.
Absolutely. Athearn has one of the best back order part supply lines out there. That if you have something that goes wrong with a locomotive, even if it's an old one, chances are you'll still find it on Athearn's catalog, and you can get that replacement part.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of their replacement
I'm
parts
still
on my
going through the
project.
website here. Check it out.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that they've got. Check it out, these F59 PHIs. These ran in Canada and the United States, very different areas of the country, specific areas. And this is also the engine that they made up the fantasy paint schemes in, for example.
Oh, wow.
The Union Pacific fantasy paint
Yeah,
scheme.
I've always
Right.
kind of had my eye out looking for one of the war bonnet
And
paint
buses
schemes,
too? I
of
didn't
course.
even know they made
Yeah, I know, and
They
Mike,
do. Yeah,
Mike
they
just
make
left,
buses.
right? I know.
Oh, yeah.
And also earlier tonight, and I don't know how, I think it's in a Genesis line when I go through it, they have the LEDs available for you guys.
Yeah,
Daniel's
you can
about to
upgrade it.
install some of those LEDs. Check it out, there's Cabooses right there and more vehicles for Mike. So all of this is on their website, and it's really easy to find, no time at all going through it. I was just very impressed with that, the way it works. And it's simply by just going and doing your advanced search on the page.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me see if I can find those LEDs real quick while I'm thinking about this. Again, I click on diesel locomotives, and I can pick any one I want. I'm just going to pick the F2 because I already know it's not in stock. And that's where I get to the advanced search here on the bottom. I'm so glad I could do this on the computer and show this to you guys
it's
real time.
easy.
We've never tried this before. How exciting is
Yeah,
this?
this
So
is
I'm going to Genesis right now, right? Genesis. In stock. It's all I care about, what's in stock, right? and I already kind of know where it's at. What am I doing wrong? There it goes, pops. Here's the F9s. These are the ones that Rand Hood talked to me about last night. He just bought those.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? He just bought those sets of G and RW F units that Athearn just came out with. And these are the brand new ones. I know the Friscos are in here too. And these, these are all the different various engines we talked about a couple weeks ago on the show, the SD45-2s. There's the Big Boy that...
There's the Big Boy, yeah.
That Daniel just showed us right there. All right here on the website. And they make multiple numbers of the Big Boy. If you look right here, I saw excursion number 6006. That's the one that we've got here at the museum, at the Transportation Museum.
Yeah.
You see that one on there? I saw it on there yesterday.
6?
Yes.
There it is, right there.
That's right.
How about that? And that's the one we've got at the Transportation Museum. It's 4006. But again, all right here to be seen on the website. I think the parts might start about page 6. I got it set for 72 items per page. It's amazing. You can go through this whole website in a few minutes.
There's some parts.
There's the beacons, trucks,
yep.
fans,
Yep.
the windows, the screens, trucks. Where are the LEDs? I promise you LEDs are in here too, where you guys can actually buy the LEDs that they put into the Athearn locomotives.
Type LED upgrade into the search bar.
Actually, you can go up to the parts tab up top.
Oh, there they are, right there.
No, those are the light bulbs.
Light bulbs.
This is actually kind of fun.
Yeah, I know, right? And we could do this live on the, and you guys are seeing your live screen capture. I might be going back and forth so I can, we can see each one of us on the screen.
Right.
But there's no limit of products on this website. Even, I just saw the 1943 just scrolled by. They still have those in stock, 1943s.
Oh, yeah.
And this is in a Genesis line, so that's why the mechanical reefers come with a Tsunami 2 sound decoder right there. That's those units that you see on the screen. But yeah, honest to God, check it out. You can also buy the LEDs, I promise. But I didn't find them on this video, and I'm going to stop doing this right now. Because this is addictive. I did this the other night, and I went through the whole website in just a few minutes.
And how many hours do you think you were sitting down there looking at all this?
I was on this website for less than 10 minutes, and I saw everything that they've got in stock, and I thought it was very impressive very quickly. I just can't believe I couldn't find
those
the LEDs.
GP9s are nice.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me started.
I love those cowl units.
I know, my favorite engine.
do.
There they are.
Oh,
Check it out.
There they are.
LEDs right here.
Yep.
Housing. These are what you're going to put
Yeah,
in
and
some
these are
engines.
designed so
the
that you can
headlights.
just plug them right into the headlight housings.
So what happens if I click on that? Does it bring up the screen? It sure does.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
check it out. You can find a retailer or you can buy it online, your
Nice.
choice. The Athearn website, it's very easy to navigate.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show that to you tonight, and I thought we'd try it live on the show. We've never done something like this before.
I think it
Being as
worked
we
out.
don't have a Skype guest, I thought we'd give it a shot.
Yeah, sure.
So going around the table, again, next week is David Pop. Have we covered everything?
Well, what about these boxcars we got sitting right
You
here?
know, I talked to Derek Sampson this week. Shout out to Derek. He has expanded his hobby shop. He has doubled the size, actually moved it into a different
Oh, wow.
storefront, a different new bay in the
Wow,
last 6
congratulations.
months. In the last 6 months, he bought a new house. In the last 6 months, he doubled the size of the hobby shop, and his baby is doing well and great.
Oh, that's
He
yeah,
has a
great.
huge slot car track in the facility now that is amazing.
That
I'll
is
tell
cool.
you. Plus his drag strip. that he
But Derek
has.
also is the one that made all of these great What's Neat This Week boxcars for us. He's coming out with a new one that's going to have the brand new logo on it, but he still has all these available on his website, the black one, the gray one, the gold one. I saw the gold one at Daniel's house the other day. And it's just really cool. Check him out. What is the website to go to buy these?
ValueTrainsUSA.com.
And
Value
he can make
Trains.
your own cars too. I know there's a couple Sugar Fire cars floating out there in certain places.
Yes, he
yeah,
does
James
do
Wright had
custom.
a few made, and
He does custom
of
work
course.
for museums and different places like that because he prints these. He's got his own printer that prints these.
Yep.
And this is his own die work. So this is actually his own die, his own box car design. So rock and roll, Derek. Thank you very much for making our box cars. Check it out at
Yes, thank you.
ValueTrainsUSA.com. And one more question. We got a few more minutes left. We're not at the end of this one yet. I wanted to ask this question 4 weeks ago, and I'm going to ask it now. And folks out there in readers' comments, I'd be very curious to know your opinion on this. Daniel, you're building a new layout. James, you are about to build a layout. You're in the process of building yours. And I've got guys, Austin Allard's outside, and has tried to convince me to change mine. Mine is single track. If you were building a layout now, would you prefer to build single track or double track, and why?
Well, I'm going to key in just my point. Now, it depends, though, if you want just the racetrack method or you want the operations. That's one thing to consider. Single track would be you have to have a few sidings here and there if you kind of want to replicate the trains, passing each other at a certain point and making it a little bit interesting. Now, double main line, which again is in my case, I got a 28-inch and 26 radius main lines, but I came up then with a third track on the inside because this new layout I built, I was like, I wanted to run double track, few crossovers here and there, so at least I can have two trains running just if people start to come over, or if we have like family over at my house, and it's easy to just run two trains at once and just have one train because one, maybe a little kid or something like that just wants to say, hey, I want to run one. Well, all right, here you go. Then you got the whole track to yourself. So
you've kind of answered the question though, because your layout is double track.
It is, yeah. With
James,
a single track.
what do you think you're going to do?
I think I would probably go for single track, and the reason for that is if you're doing double track, you got to think about the curves. All right.
Yep.
If you're wanting to run passenger cars or auto racks or that kind of thing, you've got to have broad curves. You got to have a good center distance between those lines, and that means you're eating up real estate.
Right.
So my preference would be to be mostly single line, but with the occasional passing siding. And I think that has the advantage that it takes up a little bit less space. But it also adds some interest during your operating sessions because you're having to dispatch different trains to meet at different points and figure out which trains have the higher priority and all of that. So it's like you add another aspect to the puzzle.
So you're going to have tighter radiuses on your layout is what it sounds like to me. You're not going to have 45 and 50-inch radiuses.
Oh, I want broad radii. I just don't want to have to worry about accommodating 2 or 3 tracks on that radius.
How did yours come out, Joshua? You're building the DeSoto. You're building DeSoto down in Missouri, the actual location.
Correct. Absolutely.
What are you doing for your single track, double track?
Well, there's a double track that goes through just the town, and then it turns into single tracks. I am probably going to do double track all the way around the basement. But I do have a single track section. It's a loop around that goes around the staging facility and the roundhouse and everything like that. Kind of a test track that used to be in DeSoto. So that is my single track, but all the main line will be double track. And I want to have extra sidings and stuff. I want to have a lot of service on there. So a lot of things sitting in sidings, waiting on more bigger priority things coming through.
Right.
Very cool.
So, and the other thing is the more space that your main takes up, the less space you have for industries or businesses that you want to serve with your train.
Right.
So
my home layout down here is single track because I like the idea of the operational standpoint of passing trains past each other. I like the single track aspect because it allows me to do varied scenery where I'm more in the woodsy type. Double track usually means bigger, wider grades, more cleared land, But the Midwest Valley Modelers layout that I built in 1988 and we ran it through 1997, that layout we did over 50 train shows with, and that was a double track layout. Now, I wouldn't refer to it as a racetrack, but think about it. When you're setting up a realistic-looking modular layout at train shows, the one thing people want to see are trains running all the time.
Right.
And by having that double-track aspect meant that there was always 2 trains. So you weren't standing on one side of the layout or the other without a train coming by at least every 45 seconds.
And there were a couple other factors going on there, too, right? You were modeling Santa Fe Transcon.
Santa Fe, 1953.
So there is so much of that was double tracked, and they're expanding the double track sections of the Transcon all the time to accommodate increasing amounts of traffic. The other factor is that you were dealing with DC.
Oh,
and if you're designing with DC in mind, doing the double track is sort of the simpler way to go because you can have 2 trains running different directions, not have to worry about a whole lot of throwing a whole lot of switches.
And with it as big as it was, how many trains did you have on each line?
Obviously both main lines were isolated, but we used rotary switches, and what that meant was we had 3 power packs, and each DC power pack ran to the rotary switch, and the rotary switch was multi-colors, and I think there was like 8 or 10 different colors, so that you could switch which track that transformer was dedicated to. So it was very, very pre-NCE.
Right.
NCE hadn't been invented yet. Boy, it would have been wonderful if we had had NCE on that layout.
Sure.
Because we wouldn't have had the cables on those throttles. We could have walked around the room, ran that layout, DCC changed the world.
Absolutely.
And it probably would have changed the design of that layout, whereas But still, you need the double track main line for the entertainment value
Yep.
of a public type layout like that. So
Yeah.
rock and roll. What we're going to do now is we're going to go run some trains on our single track layout down here.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
cool, 54 degrees outside. Maybe we'll light a bonfire and run the Garden Railroad tonight. But that's going to be it for show number 131, guys. This is the best hobby in the world with the best people in it. Be sure to check out the What's Neat show for October. It just came out. And with that, guys, let's go run some trains.
Ah!